is it,
something
though?
could
Okay,
have
but
occurred.
Emily, again,
but what?
look,
We don't really know.
I don't want to jump in.
when you're
Again,
using sources that are praising Hamas that have affiliations with Hamas,
okay, but
this
Emily,
is incredible.
We all witnessed an IDF gang rape of a Palestinian hostage in one of these.
You didn't witness that, Anna, because that's not what the footage shows, and that actually has been investigated in the courts.
I watched the video myself.
You interrupted me, as a matter of fact, and what you saw is not what you think you saw. This has already been debunked.
The victim. By the way, I just want to be clear that this woman is not a journalist. She's actually a spy who works for the 8200 group within the IDF.
By the way, that is legal defamation. I have never worked for the Israeli government in any capacity, and I also have never served in the Israeli army.
You yourself have posted about it on X.
No, I didn't.
I have a
Apparently, you have problems reading.
I have a screenshot. I'll share it immediately after this interview.
I have a screenshot too, Anna. In fact, I have a screenshot of you defaming me on social media, calling me a traitor to the United States when you have no such evidence.
You are a traitor to the United States.
So maybe stick to the actual conversation here, which is not about my background, but about
can we not talk over each other?
All
right, don't talk. If you talk over each other,
don't ever say that we agree.
If you talk over each other, no one can hear. And
Yeah.
let's not get into the tit for tat on who's suing who about.
I'm going to dispute you on that figure, but
well, no, it's not disputable. The only dispute is whether any of them
because many of these journalists were not journalists.
Hang on. It's not disputed that
you're not a journalist. You are not a journalist. Okay, you born and raised in LA.
I hear a lot of background noise.
Now you're
I hear a lot of background noise, and I would like to get back to the question that you were asking,
genocidal regime in the Middle East. That's what you are. You're a propagandist for a genocidal regime in the Middle East. Talking about
can we get back to the actual topic of this debate, please?
No, we're focusing on the topic of the debate.
Can we get back to the topic of this debate?
You're justifying the slaughter of actual journalists.
I'm here to speak about what's actually happening on the ground.
Okay, look, I'm making. Let me hang on.
As a propagandist for Israel,
Anna,
that's what you are. You're propagandist.
Anna, you can respond in a moment, but I'm making the point, which I think is a valid one, which is why is it the IDF and the Israeli government could respond so quickly to the desecration of a statue of Jesus, but cannot respond with anything like the same speed to the killing of journalists, many of whom were genuine journalists doing their job.
Probably Rob and Doron can answer this even better than me, but I think the most distinct and obvious difference is that one occurs in the fog of war, and it takes time to be able to determine who was where, when, what footage is there, what information is there available, versus a photo where you can clearly see who it was and what happened, and they evaluated that fairly quickly. Now, that said, I agree with you. I think there needs to be more transparency, and there also needs to be more speedy answers to a lot of these things. We're on the same page on this. I'm not disputing you at all on that front.
And on the question of the 9,000 or so Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails, why is it that so many have not had a free and fair trial yet?
Good question.
Under administrative detention, Israel does reserve the right in order to preemptively arrest people up to 6 months with court permission, and that is what's happened. All of those 9,000 are not under administrative detention, but we know that after October 7th, there were thousands of arrests in order to determine who was a part of what happened. In fact, I would go even further than that and point out that a lot of the Palestinians who were arrested, we didn't know because we didn't know on October 7th who had entered Israel. There were people they found many months later that were involved in the October 7th massacres who had been hiding inside of Israel. So there is an over-response to what happened in order to get control of the situation. That's not really unique to Israel. That's something we see
in one group of people. And I want to note, Emily Schrader didn't say Hamas. She said Palestinians are seen as enemy combatants. But yeah, the application of this law is obviously meant to, excuse me,
if you murder someone, you are a terrorist.
Including Jewish Israelis? You think they should, if Jewish Israelis carry out murder, you think they should be, okay, all right, as long as you're applying it fairly and equally.
Attack, absolutely.
All right, as long as you're applying it equally and fairly. But, okay, so can I finish my point without Emily and her screeching voice interrupting me constantly? Let me just finish my point, okay? The issue is the fact that Palestinians are tried in a military prison, or I'm sorry, military courts, as opposed to, Jewish Israelis. I mean, this law is an extension of the apartheid system that Israel has been operating under for decades now. That is the problem. This law is yet another symptom of that deeper foundational problem within Israeli society. Israelis would like us to believe that they're the only democracy in the Middle East, that it's a wonderful utopia that Americans would love. It's very much in line with the Western world. It is not in line with the Western world. It is very important for the American people to understand that our special ally operates in ways that we would find absolutely horrendous. We would consider it treachery. And the idea that we continue to fund that government, fund that military, despite all of the atrocities that have been committed in Gaza, in the West Bank, now in Lebanon, also in Iran. By the way, quickly going back to your point about we don't know who bombed the school in Manab. We do know. Sadly, it was the United States, because we're the only ones who have Tomahawk missiles, and Tomahawk missiles were used to bomb that school. And it wasn't simply one strike. It wasn't two strikes. It was 4 strikes. Okay, so that was a horrific situation, and I hate the fact that we as Americans have blood on our hands for carrying out that atrocity. But atrocities happen. It's one thing to realize you've committed an atrocity, use actual punishment to prevent it from happening again. But that's not what's happening here. It's certainly not happening in Israel. It's not happening with our government, certainly under the leadership of Donald Trump. I mean, the guy thinks that we're winning the war in Iran. He keeps telling us that he's decimated their military. We just got New York Times reporting yesterday saying that Iran was able to access most of their mobile, missile launchers along the Strait of Hormuz. 70% of their missiles are still intact. It's lie after lie after lie, Piers. And we have to be honest about what's actually happening right now, or we're going to keep compounding the same mistakes
over and over again.
Well, I think
in a way, this plays back to what Rob O'Neill said, which is there's a lot of lying goes on in war.
I didn't know Baghdad Bob from the first war in Iraq had a job again. The Americans are committing suicide by the thousands. Their Navy sunk. Their Army doesn't matter. They've been physically destroyed. It's a matter of you and the media waiting it out with them.
Then why haven't we opened the Strait of Hormuz? If their military's been decimated, why haven't we militarily opened the Strait of Hormuz?
The Holy Land in Saudi Arabia, and then Iran and Straits of Hormuz are going to be obsolete. That's why. We're giving them a chance. Do you want to still be in Iran? If not, fine, beat it.
I think the problem with giving them a chance is that Donald Trump has constantly set new timelines for this. It's going to be over in 2 or 3 weeks. Then it was 6 weeks. Then it was 8 weeks. And I think the problem is, if I was advising President Trump, it would be like maybe less is more in the constant announcements about all this.
I didn't want to start a war in Iran. I'm just saying Iran is not in this militarily. Yeah. They're decimated. They don't even have leadership. Some of these guys are just despots because they have some missiles or launch them because they want to die because they believe in their version of heaven. Get your head in it. They've lost. It's a matter of the media holding out than us being weak again. That's it.
Suicide bombings are carried out by Sunni Muslims, not Shia Muslims. Sunni Muslims do the suicide bombings.
Let me bring Doran in. Doran, you want to comment on that?